as you youngsters embark on a swell future. All but one, that is. You see, Billy thought it would be neat to try Taco Bell's new boldly seasoned...
Alright guys, so I checked out Alien Covenant in IMAX. It's an IMAX, so it's more expensive, and it was almost sold out. I was really surprised to see a movie that's not a comic book film almost be sold out in IMAX. But all of these people were basically fans of either Prometheus or Alien, the original Alien, so other than that, let's get on to the review. So Alien Covenant is the sequel to Prometheus, which I haven't seen, but I know what Prometheus is about, so I was basically all set to watch this movie. And it's a prequel to the original Alien movie, so basically that whole, like, thing with Ripley and everything hasn't happened yet in this setting. So basically the commanders of the ship, they're basically aware that there's a much closer planet to the one that they're traveling to, so they go over to that planet, test it out, see if it's a much better environment than where they're heading to. And of course, shit goes crazy. These creatures are like, you know, chest poppers and everything, and just shit goes wild. Now let's start out with the things that I really like about this movie. The performances. Michael Fassbender, this man needs an Oscar, not with this movie, with something a little bit more serious. But something like, he's really good in this movie, and he's definitely the best performer. He plays two characters, and he's the best performance in this movie. And Catherine Watterson from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, she's in this movie, and her character, they try to make her character a little bit too much like Ripley, which is it was kind of like a problem for me. But I still thought that she did good. And everyone else also did pretty good, but also James Franco's in this movie. He was in a bunch of the promotional material for this movie. In the film, not so much, about a minute, and he doesn't have any lines, but screams. If you've seen the movie, you basically know what James Franco's up to in this movie, but he's in the promotional material, like in the prologues and everything, so he's still a big part. His character's still kind of like a big part of this movie. And another standout was Danny McBride. I'm used to seeing Danny McBride as in comedies like This Is the End and Pineapple Express and everything. And when I saw him in the trailer, I was like, ooh, I hope they don't make him that annoying comedic relief in this movie. And he wasn't. He had some funny lines, but for the most part, his character was serious. He wasn't. They weren't really trying to attempt to make him the funny person from the movie or anything like that. So they handled his character really well, and he was also one of my favorite characters. And I also thought the writing in this movie was also really good. It really worked, and I thought it was really good. Another thing I really loved about this movie was the build-up. The build-up in this movie, in a way, I'm going to talk about this with my complaints with this movie, because there is some things to complain about the build-up. But the build-up in this movie I thought was almost kind of perfect, because they do a really good build-up. I mean, they start basically with the introduction to some of the characters from this movie, and then they kind of go to the backstory of Prometheus, and they're just having flashbacks and everything, and then it builds up to the third act, which is where everything goes to shit and everything is crazy, and basically the main reason why you're gonna watch this movie. Now, with that complaint that I had about the build-up, my complaint is basically around the second act. With all that build-up, the movie just starts to feel slow, because they just start almost forcing all of these flashbacks and basically everything that happened in Prometheus into your face. You're like, we get it, we just want more of this crazy alien shit. We don't really want to see any more backstories to Prometheus anymore. And another complaint with this movie is that there are some key things that really feel missing from this movie. Like, you really know that there is more to the story, but they don't really show you that more. Like, some things really feel missing, And in the end of the day, this movie really also has a lot of unanswered questions. So there are some questions in your head after this movie that haven't been answered. So hopefully they answer it in the third Alien prequel, which Ridley Scott says is going to happen. So let's just hope that they answer those unanswered questions that this movie left for us. But in the end of the day, Alien Covenant is a fine film. Of course, it's flawed, but it's good. And that, just like that third act, is just crazy and suspenseful and like gory as hell. I just love that so much. Like, I just love how gory this movie was. And yeah, I'm kind of crazy for that, but it's just like visually nice to look at. And I also forgot to talk about how visually beautiful this movie is. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's fine. I hope that they could improve some things from this movie, such as the questions, unanswered questions, onto the third film. And it's a good movie, and that's why I'd recommend this watching this on a matinee or discount day. I just can't really recommend unless you're a hardcore Alien fan or Prometheus fan, then you could pay full price to watch this. But I'm gonna give Alien Covenant a B. Also, if you think that you missed out on the IMAX, don't worry because you didn't really miss out on much. The IMAX only worked for the third act of the film, again, where everything goes crazy. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you guys seen this movie, please let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys for my next movie day.